And this isn't about you waking up. I'm not saying this is the path to waking up, because ultimately there is no path to waking up. But it's a really good thing to do to balance everything out. And then at the same time, keep listening to non-duality. And then when the energy is ready, it will swap from being someone personal to boundlessness. But so many people that I meet that are listening to non-duality, they're trying to use non-duality to heal very difficult problems that they have in their personality. And everybody, every separate self has really bizarre conditioning, because they're basing their life on a lie that they exist separately. So then they go into all these really weird dreams and ideas about themselves, and so many bizarre stories. And then they come to non-duality, and they try to use non-duality to help with all their neurotic conditioning. And then they try to condition themselves into being nobody, which isn't going to work. This is just going to make you more dead and more confused. And really what it's about is everything coming back to life again, stopping living in this contracted small space, and a total honesty. So a total dropping into what's happening. So when I cry, I just cry. I'm not in some mental story about whose fault it is or why I'm crying. I'm just crying. When I'm angry, I'm just angry. Even if it's something else and I'm going, you screwed me over, you fucker, or whatever I'm saying, there is just anger there, but it's innocent. The separate person, though, it goes and lives in its head, and it believes it is someone, has free will, and all these bizarre neuro pathways start in the head, and all this bizarre way of looking at the world starts. And so putting the focus back onto the feelings is really going to balance the person out. It's going to tidy the cage, make you loads less neurotic, loads less neurotic, and make you happier and healthier, which is great, and more honest and more genuine. And then when the time is ready, there will be this shift over, rather than when I found that I was just talking about pure Advaita, I was meeting so many people that were just pretending to be nobodies, which is such a bore to be around. They're dead, and then they're always trying to justify that they're nobody, rather than living in stories about themselves. They're always living in a story about non-duality, which is not what I'm talking about at all. So I think it's great that a teacher is always shifting the way that they speak, because it really pulls the rug out from those people that are listening. And maybe some of you are attached to the old way I speak. Maybe some of you love the new way I speak, but maybe some of you are attached to the old way I speak, and so it might be hurting you. But then rather than an honesty about that, more than likely what you'll do is you'll tell a story about how I'm wrong. But why are you telling a story about stuff? You're only ever trying to tell a story about stuff and trying to justify your discomfort in order to escape things. It's not that it's actually talking about what's happening. So you're feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling like you're losing something by me changing the way I speak, and then you start telling the story about how I'm wrong, or how I've had people saying that I'm falling from grace, or whatever it is, but really underneath that there's fear. And so you can just move your attention to that fear and become honest about it, and it will just go through the body, rather than you could spend 2 years telling people about what a shit story I am and building up this what a shit teacher I am, and building up this whole story about me. You can do whole lifetimes with telling stories about people and events and things that have happened to you, and really underneath you just feel scared and out of control. And if there's just a movement of that attention onto those feelings, they will just begin to move through the body, and you won't be stuck on that identity. You'll become so much more flexible and free as a person. And then when that energy is ready to shift, that from being that person to boundlessness, it's ready to shift, and the person's become such a nicer, more balanced, happier person, which is really beautiful. But the cause of the shift is so mysterious, and you can't tell a story about it. It happens, and it's so unique to each person. The path of each person you could not possibly put into words. It is the path that presents itself. It is life.